now, and it is Monday, December 7th, 2020, and this is a regular meeting for the City Council of Woodland. If I could please get everyone to silence your cell phones. If you are online, please silence your microphone so we don't have a lot of feedback, and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and take the roll. Mrs. Rounds?
Here.
Mr. Chapman?
Here.
Mr. Fredericks?
Here.
Mr. Plaza?
Here.
Mrs. Holland?
Present.
Mrs. Graham?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Thank you. For the record, Mr. Smith is calling in this evening while the other 6 members are in chambers with their masks on. All right. Moving on to presentations and proclamations, we have none this evening. Also moving on to citizen communication for items not on the agenda. There's no one in the gallery this evening. Is there anyone online who would like to step forward for items not on the agenda? The only person I see with us this evening that is a citizen is someone reporting on our meeting. So welcome, Ms. Fairbanks. Appreciate you being here this evening. But seeing no citizens, making sure there's nobody outside. Stand by. Make sure just to verify. Okay. Seeing no one outside, the door is open for those wanting to participate, for the record. Moving on to citizen communications for items on the agenda. Again, there is no one in the gallery. Is there anyone online at this time? Seeing none, moving on to agenda approval.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Plaza, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. I will go ahead and take the vote. Mrs. Graham. Mrs. Holland.
Aye.
Mr. Fredericks.
Aye.
Mr. Plaza.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Rounds.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
All right, the agenda has been approved 7-0. The time is now 7:04, and we are going into a public hearing. 2021 proposed budget ordinance number 1475. If there is anyone in the gallery, which there is not, that would like to step forward to speak on this topic, now is your opportunity. For the record, the front door is open and available for folks to participate this evening. Seeing no one in the gallery raising a hand, is there anyone online that would like to participate and discuss ordinance number 1475? Now's your opportunity. For the record, the link to this Zoom meeting was published last week for the community to participate. All right, we are going to move out of public hearing. It is 7:05. Thank you, I appreciate that. Moving on to reports of City Council.
I can report on the Finance Committee.
When we get to that section, I would love to hear from you, Mr. Smith.
Sorry.
Rookie.
Rookie mistake right there. Rookie move, rookie move.
Been there, done that. Second time.
It's kind of hard when you're not actually there.
Yeah.
Oh, Mrs. Graham.
Well, I don't really have anything to report. I have a question. Did anybody attend the
Drive-by.
display, the drive-by with the bonds
I didn't get to make
shared
it.
to their house?
No, I was there. I was there passing out the cotton candy.
Was it a
And-
good turnout?
Yes, there was the collection, almost $600.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. And we had a lovely family that, so in addition to that, there was also a family that donated a bunch of cotton candy, so product. So they paid for that out of their own pocket, so there was another donation there. So as they're passing out candy canes and helping the children and monitoring it's a beautiful display this year, beautiful display. They did a wonderful job, always beautiful. And now they got the other house that's there on the property, so everything is really decorated. Did you show up?
No, I didn't get to go.
Oh. Well, it's still open. It's open throughout the season, so.
I know there was a video online today.
Oh, there was.
Somebody did show it, yes, so. It's very pleased to see that.
I saw Mr. Smith come through and heckled his children and got them all sugared up at about 8 o'clock at night and sent them home. So I was very proud of myself on that one. All right, seeing nothing else, moving on to reports of standing committee. Mr. Smith, this is your Super Bowl. Time to go.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So the Finance Committee met today on Monday, December 7th at 5:30. Mrs. Ripp did a report on the finance report, sales tax, the audit for 2019 is complete. Councilmember Holland and I both attended that. Their report is published on their website, I think is what she was saying. But they gave a favorable report with great comments and said that the city's doing very well with their reporting. There was a couple of small issues when, as far as executive session, but as far as Pete said, he was going to make sure that those were addressed going forward to make sure we were doing those correctly. But all in all, it was a good report. We went over there was one utility leak adjustment that was being done, and then looks like they're implementing phase 2 to begin in early summer for the payroll portal phase that was approved earlier, I guess. I can't remember what she said, if it was a couple years ago it was done that it was approved, but they are implementing it. There was another thing that we had for new business as far as premium support and consolidation of billing. We voted to send that to council on the last finance committee, and we weren't sure if we had to do an action or not to consolidate the billing, but we're discussing at the meeting tonight, so we didn't feel like we needed to do an action since it was already on the agenda, and we did it last meeting. And that was it.
Questions for Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Seeing no one else. Human Resources. Mr. Plaza.
Yes, sir. We met today, December 7th, 2020, and basically it was quick and easy. The only thing of note to report was it looks like that the city and the Police Officers Guild may have reached a tentative agreement on their contract. So it will be going back to the guild members for a vote, and if everything goes well, then we'll be moving forward from there. Other than that, that was about it. Our next meeting is on January 4th, 2021. Thank God we're almost done with this year. At 5:30 p.m. right here in your city council chambers.
200 East Scott. All right, questions for Mr. Plaza this evening? Got a punch you group. All right, seeing none, moving on to the Chamber of Commerce, Mrs. Graham.
Well, the chamber is still functioning the best that we possibly can, and as of this afternoon, I've learned of 2 new businesses opening in town, so.
Well, let her rip, Tater Chip. What is
We
it?
have Pearl Moon has new owners apparently.
Oh, okay, good.
And then there is a new tap room opening.
Did they give a date on that, the one on Atlantic there? I saw the sign.
I didn't know for sure where
Okay.
it was going to be at. I could recognize the building in the picture.
I believe it is the new remodeled where they did the lighting, not landscape lighting, horticulture lighting on Atlantic. They redid the front. Yeah.
was right in front of Beth.
Yeah.
I believe that they were going to put in a different type of retail operation, and
I was really hoping for another coffee shop.
from it is located out at Belmont Loop.
Hi, yes,
so
we're
I
in
know it's an
we're in a council
administration
meeting.
We don't have
Is
any
everything okay?
restaurants in Wheeling.
Hopefully, we remember it's there and
Okay, you want me to call you back later?
coffee bucks around.
Okay, fine.
And then the chamber is also sponsoring a Christmas decorating contest this year. We will be voting on the 16th of December. Register your address to Denise at the woodlandwahchamber.com site. There are 3 categories. We'll be doing one for business, one for home, and one for people's choice. So the information is up on the Woodland website. So
Didn't I win this, the city win this last year?
Do the businesses need to be chamber members? No?
No.
no.
Did the city, didn't we win a portion of that
Yes. You,
category last year?
yes, you were all dressed up as
We were.
Christmas
The elves?
Vacation.
vacation.
Yes.
Christmas vacation. They were really very creative.
We were.
He was Cousin Eddie.
So this will
Scott
be,
Summers.
your yard, painting of windows, et cetera, so on and so forth.
So he
Because
just
we will not be going inside a business to look at that. It will all be,
Okay. And what's the date that it has to be registered?
We will be going out voting on the 16th of December.
Okay.
So, register your address with Denise at the Woodland Law Chamber website.
Okay.
And I think that's, we're just hanging in there. Hoping that someday we'll be up and running full blast again.
I hope so. Do you want to jump into DWR? Do you have
I
anything?
can't, I really don't know a lot of information about what's going on. I know we have new light poles going up downtown, which I'm assuming that decorations are going across for Christmas, but they will be usable with banners for other purposes for businesses in town
Okay.
at a later date.
Yes, and you'll see those this season here. I believe that the end of this week they'll start putting the decorations on them, I believe. Okay. Mrs. Round still not attending.
Still not
Okay.
attending.
Perfect. Questions for Mrs. Graham? All right. Thank you. Moving on to reports of city officers. I don't have a lot this evening. I do want to remind you that if you do speak this evening, please make sure your mic is on and speak into the mic so we can hear you. And other than that, I did have some things I wanted to talk about. I forget. We do have an event coming up on the 18th, and it is a drive-through event. We were trying to shoot for this weekend, for this Friday. This Friday night, we're moving it to the 18th due to the poles that Mrs. Graham just described. There was some new concrete that had to be removed and poured, and it just won't be cured in time after talking to Ms. Coleman. But basically, there'll be a drive-through event because we didn't do a tree lighting this year. So it's our modified version of Winterfest. So you'll start at the skate park, drive through the park. We're going to have a number of blow-ups out there for folks to see. Hit the four-way stop, take a left, and head on down. You'll see the mayor, which is me, waving to folks as they go by, along with Miss Woodland, and hopefully Miss Woodland, because I rescheduled her, so now I don't know if she will actually be in attendance. And then we will have Santa and Mrs. Claus out by the tree that we do a big to-do for, but they'll be also waving to the motorists along with all the wonderful decorations for downtown. We did have a citizen step forward and is helping participate in displays through the park with more lighting than just the blow-ups that we have, but it sounds like it's going to be pretty spectacular. Mr. Plaza.
Why aren't we lighting the tree?
The tree will be lit. We're just not having the event where we all gather with the 400, 500 people that come down. And did I not make that clear? I'm sorry.
No, you didn't.
What time is the event?
From 5 to 9. From 5 to 9 on the 18th.
And this is a holiday fest?
They called it Winterfest.
Winterfest.
That is what
That
the
was the name
organizers
of it
call it.
originally.
But that's usually what it's called, is because there's a number of things that happen.
Because Merry Christmas is offensive?
No, Merry Christmas, Mr. Fredericks. I just said it.
Thank you.
You bet. Mrs. Graham.
I might add that I have seen, and I saw the flower flyer before I came out tonight, that there is also out off of Gun Club, you go around Statesman and Embassy Loop, that the neighborhood has been decorated down there, and they are taking like a canned food drive, I believe.
Okay.
Also, so, they started tonight, and I believe in this Friday and Saturday, they'll do it again, and then there's one other date, so it may be the following weekend.
Okay, Embassy Loop off of Statesman. I saw the sign out on near the roundabout on my way over tonight. That was new.
And I didn't know, I had heard at one time that the Merriweather neighborhood was doing something, so I don't know if that.
I'm sure Mr. Fredericks would have information and is participating in that.
That'd be a big NO. I do not put up lights. It takes too long.
Merriweather they're doing a homeowners competition, and there's a few categories that you can enter yourself into from what I've heard. And I think they have to be done about the same time that you said the chamber was.
I will say that Rotary is ringing the bell again this year in front of Safeway, and that's about it.
Okay. Maybe, can you speak to Rotary just a little bit? So the question came forward, and I've been trying to seek out some information. I got a little bit of information today. The Shop for the Cop is still occurring this year, although there's time slots that are being done, and I know that the group is not doing as many as they've done in the past. There's a much smaller number of children that will be participating just due to COVID and everything, and trying to time slot them. But we were told that they gave a sizable donation to Rotary to help out and assist with the others that they weren't able to get to. Are you familiar with that?
I don't know what all's going on, but I think we are making it a little more simple this year because with the kids not being in school, it's hard for, to get all the information. So I think they're doing socks and blankets and gloves and hats or whatever, but I don't know all the information about it.
Okay, so
Joy would be the one.
So 2 years ago, we had a meeting with all the area organizations. In 2018, we came together and they brought their list of folks and made sure that everybody had an opportunity to be taken care of for the holidays. So we weren't weighted on certain families, and these other families missed out. So it was expressed to me today that that hasn't happened for 2 years. So we're not sure exactly what the programs are going on. We know that Rotary's participating. We know the Shop with a Cop is still going, and I'm not sure at this point what other organizations are still stepping forward to help participate, but I'm still trying to gather up some information. So I'll send Joy an email and see exactly if she's partnering with anyone else. For whatever reason, nobody really took control of that meeting with those community organizations. It just kind of happened, and then it just kind of went away. But that was probably the best organized year I think that we had was in 2018. So we should probably get on that and do that again. Questions for me? We're just working at the city, so thank you. Mr. Boyce.
Okay, I'm just going to keep it short tonight because I know we have a lengthy agenda. One, to notify council that we received our first CARES Act payment on the tune of $231,000. We have one more request in to get us up to our, I can't remember the total amount, 280, right around there. So the money is coming in and being dispersed. Other than that, wanted to remind everyone we have a Planning Commission meeting on the 17th at 7 p.m. And I'll leave it there. Are there any questions?
Questions for Mr. Boyce? And I'm going to jump in real quick with one more item. On Saturday, I don't want to say I participated. I attended an online forum for Mr. Goddard was there. Miss Johnson was there as well. Regarding a 150 home planned unit over on the east side of town, over next to the intermediate school. And I know that is one thing that the Planning Commission will be discussing. That meeting was held with the engineers, is that correct, Mr. Goddard? The engineers, for some community engagement to figure out what the community had to say. I thought it was very informative, and all that information will be passed on to the Planning Commission. So I'm looking forward to their recommendation, just in case city council members are seeing items out on social media, or if you
I did see some on social media.
receive some phone calls. The process is working itself, and obviously anytime that there's a large change or a perceived impact or an impact to certain areas of town, we're going to have conversations that are going to occur. So understand that I have all the faith in Mr. Goddard and right now the engineers, that they're doing what they need to do for community outreach, and it is going to the Planning Commission, and I'm looking forward to their recommendation. As we have done in the past, is there any specific questions you have for department head? And if not, we will not go through individual reports, but if you have certain questions for certain members, we can facilitate that. All right, seeing none, moving on to consent items this evening.
Can I go A, please?
A is in Adam.
Yes.
Thank you.
Move to approve the consent agenda with the exception of action item A.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Fredericks, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. I will go ahead and take that vote. Mrs. Graham. Mrs. Rounds.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Holland.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Mr. Plaza.
Aye.
Mr. Fredericks.
Aye.
Consent items B through F have been approved. Moving on to consent item A, approve November 30th, 2020 vouchers.
But I can't make a motion to approve something that I have to abstain from.
It's okay.
Move to approve consent item A.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Plaza, second by Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Plaza.
No comment.
Mr. Chapman.
No comment.
Mr. Fredericks.
I have to recuse myself. Normally, I would just pull the specific voucher. There's a voucher in there to the Cintas Corporation. I am employed by that company, and my total compensation is actually tied to the performance of the company. And albeit we're almost an $8 billion company and it's a little over $1,000 payment, it wouldn't amount to much, but I just want to make sure that we're being transparent and that I am removing myself from anything that would have the appearance of not being good.
Thank you. Further discussion? All right, I'll go ahead and take the roll. Mrs. Rounds.
Aye.
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Mr. Plaza.
Aye.
Mr. Fredericks.
Abstain?
Mrs. Holland.
Aye.
Mrs. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
All right, consent item A, November 30th, 2020 vouchers have been approved, 6 yeses and 1 abstention. Moving on to action item G, ordinance number 1467, garbage and recycling rate increases, final reading effective December 16th for February 2021 billing.
Move to adopt ordinance number 1467.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Fredericks, second by Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Fredericks.
I will defer my comments.
Councilmember Chapman.
No comment.
Further discussion?
Well, if there's no further discussion, then I'll go.
Mr. Fredericks.
I understand that the last time that we took this vote, this amounts to, if we vote no on this, it amounts to $28,000 to $30,000 that has to be taken from the general fund to pay for this. I'm okay with doing that. If anyone would like to suggest where those dollars would be coming from if they decide that they want to vote no on this. We have roughly a $5 million general fund budget. This is a small amount. We have a contract with these folks that allows for this type of rate increase. It is 54 cents, but it amounts to roughly $29,000. So I would like to say no, but I don't have a solution for where the funding should come from. So because I do not have a solution, without cutting additional services, I'll be voting yes, and I encourage others as well.
Mr. Plaza?
Okay, I'll try to make this quick and easy. I've made it pretty clear since I've been here how I feel about the monopoly that our garbage company or garbage people hold over the area that puts us in a position that we're in where either we stick it to the citizens of the city and make them pay more, or else we end up having to pay for it, which at the end of the day means that citizens pay more. So it's a lose-lose no matter how you look at it, and there is no, other place that we could pull money for this, which is one of the problems when you let a monopoly get hold of an area. So, I'm going to vote no, but I know it's a waste of a vote. It's pretty much just symbolic, but I get where Councilmember Fredericks is coming from, and the things that he has said makes absolute sense. However, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to vote no.
Thank you, Mr. Plaza. Further discussion?
A lot of sense.
Further discussion? Seeing none, I'll take the vote on action item G, ordinance number 1467, final reading. Mr. Chapman?
Aye.
Mr. Fredericks?
Aye.
Mr. Plaza?
No.
Mrs. Rounds?
No.
Mrs. Holland?
Aye.
Mrs. Graham? All right, ordinance number 1467, action item G has passed.
Mr.
4
Mayor?
yeses. Oh,
What about Monty?
oh, Mr. Smith, I'm so sorry, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith?
For the record, aye.
Oh, thank you so much. And the ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to action item H, ordinance number 1466, stormwater utility, final reading.
Move to approve ordinance 1466.
Second?
Moved by Councilmember Holland, seconded by Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Holland.
I think we have a really good understanding on what kind of projects Public Works can do with this money.
Councilmember Fredericks.
I'll defer my comments.
Further discussion, Mr. Plaza.
Unfortunately, you're going to be hearing a lot of no's out of me tonight. While I get the point and the reasoning behind all of these different things that we're going to be voting on, it's really bad timing, and a lot of the reasons for the way that this thing is being charged to certain people in the community, I don't agree with. I don't agree with the using a tax or a fee to curb or train people to behave a certain way. So it looks like I'm going to be voting no at least 6 more times tonight. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Plaza. Further discussion? Mr. Fredericks.
Well, I just remind the chair that when there are grant opportunities that require this council to provide matching funds for, so that is one of the things that I can recall running for city council the last time. It was a big concern for a lot of citizens is we don't have anybody writing for grants. Well, the reason we didn't have anybody writing for grants is because we didn't have any matching funds to fund those grants. This gives us the opportunity to be able to do, to free up some funds that are currently used in streets to be able to have some matching funds. I do agree with some of the sentiment from Councilmember Plaza, but I think I do find it, and I'm not suggesting that anyone here is doing that or doing this, but I think it's disingenuous when you vote to approve matching funds for an item to move forward with, such as a street, and not approve something that actually provides funding for that. I think that's the thing that I struggle with, is that this is exactly what that will be able to do. And I think that this is a good use of taxpayer funds to be able to fund additional well-needed projects for the city. I remember Sherman Way being redone. That was done through a lot of grant money. We also had Pacific Highway, that a good portion of that was redone through grant money. There are many other items that we have potential to get done in this city, and the funds that will be created will come directly from this item. And this is the thing that has gotten away from the city of Woodland for so many years, is these are the kinds of funding mechanisms that you will find in almost every single community in Southwest Washington, with the exception of Woodland. And Woodland, for far too long, has gotten away with being cheap. We're the cheapest one, but we still have the same costs that every other city has, and the same needs that every other city has. The difference is they pay for it, and we have chosen for many years to not. And that is why I'm voting yes on this, because I think it's time we pay our fair share and do some of the projects that are necessary in this community.
Further? Mrs. Rounds?
I think I've already said my feelings at previous meetings, but I do agree with a lot of what Mr. Frederick says, but the timing sucks.
Thank you. Anything further? All right, moving on to action item H for a vote. Ordinance number 1466, stormwater utility, final reading. Mrs. Graham. Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Holland.
Aye.
Mr. Fredericks.
Aye.
Mrs. Rounds.
No,
Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Mr. Plaza.
No.
All right, the ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to action item I, ordinance number 1473, amend public utility tax on water to 10.87% and establish a 12.5% public utility tax for the proposed stormwater utility, final reading. And just so council's aware too, the FCS group is online if there are questions this evening. They are with us.
Move to approve ordinance 1473.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Chapman, seconded by Councilmember Holling. Councilmember Chapman.
We discussed this in the past. We just need to get on, start moving forward with it.
Councilmember Holland.
No comment.
Further discussion? Mr. Fredericks.
So this is just moving, in essence, what we're doing here is we're reducing one tax and we're moving it over to the stormwater utility that was just created. Is that correct? That's what I
Yes,
understand. Okay.
that's correct.
Excellent.
Further discussion?
So voting no would leave no tax on the storm utility district, but would leave a 12.5% on the rest of everything.
On water, yes.
On the water portion.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Mr. Plaza? Okay. Disregard. Mr. Smith? I see you.
I guess the one question I have is, why aren't we just doing 10.8% across the board on the storm and the water?
Mr. Boyce?
So, if you remember right, the water utility had the greatest rate increase, and we were trying to mitigate that increase by reducing the public utility tax on water. The others were remaining the same at 12.5%, and part of the reason why that's important is next year, in 2022, the annexation with the fire district goes through. Council is going to reduce property tax a significant amount, and it's important that that public utility tax stay in place to help augment sales tax to provide services for the city.
Thank
Anything further? Seeing none, we'll take the vote on action item I, 1473. Councilmember Rounds.
No.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
No.
The ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to action item J, resolution number 729, water rate increase effective February 16, 2021 for April 2021 billing.
Move to adopt.
Resolution number 729.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Fredericks, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Fredericks.
In essence, what this is doing is telling folks what we're doing. And we're passing a resolution letting folks be known that we have passed this resolution, or maybe we won't, I don't know, for a water rate increase that is going to be effective on February 16th for the April 2021 billing. That is what we're doing here. Is that right, Mr. Boyce?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that question.
Mr. Fredericks is asking, essentially what is happening is passing a resolution informing the community that come February 16, 2021 for the April 2021 billing, the water rate increase will take effect.
That is correct. So it will technically take effect April 16th, but not be billed until April 2021.
Got it.
Mr. Chapman,
No comment.
further discussion?
And to be clear, this is consistent with council action that has already been taken at the previous meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
This is cleaning up the language so we can actually follow through, I believe. Is that true?
We passed an ordinance. Now we
Yes.
need to pass the resolution.
Yes.
Got it.
And please, well, can I speak?
I don't know. You're the mayor.
Well, you guys are in active discussion,
Well,
so.
if we don't like it, we'll just call a point of order.
Okay, perfect. Just shut me down that way. Thank you, I appreciate it. Keep in mind that as you get down to action item P, the ordinance number 1475, the 2021 budget, the items that are in that budget will be affected as things on this list don't pass. So these are essential services that we're providing to the community, and we have a plan in place. But again, we can always go back to the drawing board, but there's a number of things that will be impacted if not passed. Further, Mr. Chapman,
No comment.
further discussion. Ms.
No, that was
Seeing no one, we'll take the vote on action item J, Resolution 729, water rate increase effective February 16, 2021 for April 2021 billing. Mr. Chapman.
Aye.
Mr. Fredericks.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Plaza.
no.
Mrs. Rounds.
No.
Mrs. Graham.
Aye.
Mrs. Holland.
Aye.
And the ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to action item K, resolution number 730, water assessment rate increase.
Move to approve resolution 730, water assessment rate increase.
Second?
Moved by Councilmember Chapman, second by Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Chapman.
We went over, this is the same as resolution 29, we're just getting the information out to the public.
Councilmember Fredericks.
This is consistent with action item J that we just approved 5-2.
Further discussion. Seeing none, I will take the vote on action item K, resolution number 730. Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
No.
Councilmember Plaza.
No.
And the ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to resolution number 731, sewer rate increase effective February 16, 2021 for April 2021 billing.
Move to approve Resolution 731.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Chapman, second by Councilmember Hall and Councilmember Chapman.
No, this is what we've gone over before. We're just putting the final dots and crossing the Ts on this one.
Councilmember Holland.
Oh, we can do this all night, so no comment.
Further discussion.
This is consistent with the previous action we've already taken. We've made this really easy on ourselves.
Further? Anything further? Mr. Smith, anything? All right. I'll take the vote on action item L, resolution number 731. Councilmember Plaza.
No.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
No.
And the ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to action item M, resolution number 732, sewer assessment rate increase.
Move to approve Resolution 732.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Chapman, seconded by Councilmember Fredericks. Councilmember Chapman.
I have no comment.
Councilmember Fredericks.
This is consistent with action item K that we just approved, 5-2.
Further discussion.
You guys are having way too much fun.
Seeing none, I will take the vote on action item M, resolution number 732. Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
No.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
No.
And the ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to resolution number 733, set stormwater rates effective February 16, 2021 for April 2021 billing.
Motion to approve 733.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Smith, seconded by Councilmember Holland. Councilmember Smith.
No comment.
Councilmember Holland.
This just goes along with the previous ordinance.
Further discussion? Mr. Fredericks.
No discussion.
Wow. Anything further? All right, I'll take the vote on action item N, resolution number 733. Mrs. Holland.
Aye.
Mrs. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
No.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
No.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
And the ayes have it, 5-2. Moving on to action item O, resolution number 734, set low-income or disabled persons utility rate discounts effective February 16, 2021 for April 2021 billing.
Move to approve resolution number 734.
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Holland, seconded by Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Holland.
It's the right thing to
Councilmember Chapman.
I agree. At least, we're adding all these tax. At least we get a little help out there somewhere to these lesser fortunates.
Further discussion, Mr. Fredericks.
So to be clear, voting no would be not the right thing to do?
That would be the evil thing.
do.
Because I just want to make sure we're clear that we're not approving, we've already approved the increase. This allows for them to have rate discounts. By saying no to this, in essence, we'd be not approving discounts. They'd be paying what everyone else pays.
That's correct.
Okay, I just want to be clear.
Councilmember Plaza.
On that note of clarification, I also just want to make sure that I read this right. When it says set low income, we're talking about low income elderly, correct?
Those who qualify, Mr. Boyce, I believe that there is there's a threshold.
I believe it's low-income, elderly, and disabled.
Right. But so in order to benefit from the discount, you have to be a low-income elderly person, correct?
I
That's what
don't believe.
said,
Yes.
Low-income elderly.
Low-income stop, and then low-income elderly.
So is it 3 groups and not just 2? Is it low income in general, anybody who's low income, or is it low income elderly?
Did you hear the question, Mr. Boyce? The question is this, you have to be low income and elderly, or is it low income, elderly, and disabled?
Can I read this?
Oh, Mrs. Holland.
Low-income or disabled.
It says a single or single-family, low-income senior citizens and low-income disabled persons with residential water service.
Okay, so it is for senior citizens and disabled only.
Right, correct.
Okay, thank you.
It's sort of like what the county does for property tax.
Right, okay.
Further discussion or questions? All right, we'll take the vote on action item O, resolution number 734. Councilmember Rounds.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham. Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
And the ayes have it, 7-0. Moving on to action item P, ordinance number 1475, 2021 final budget, first reading.
Mayor, without objection, can we take a 10-minute recess?
Oh, 7:49, is there an objection to take a break? All right, we'll take a 6-minute break. Please be back at 7:55. Oh, you said 10? Oh, I'm sorry, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Monty, feel free to go grab a glass of water or something from your tap. All right, and we are still recording.
Of the fine woodland water, right?
Well, yeah, they, no, they're fine. It was just one of the guys that worked in the shop. Yeah, they didn't get most of it out front. So, they just went to stay with the car. Like, coworkers, and then with that, with them, so it's just been really up and down. And even Gail, when they're very material, you see those in their building, quite fast, and they come out right out here. She entered the building that he had it, so they had to change some of their nets. So far, it's not bad. I really don't know what's going to happen, condition and, there was just that worked pretty good early. And then, Christmas was usually pretty quiet. My nickname is New Year's, and anybody wants to be down, but all can't not make it.
Right.
So, whether my other brothers will come down from up north, I don't know. Yeah, I went down and said, you do right, you right first. So it's gonna be pretty quiet, yeah. I told my agent steady, I'm gonna go into the Apple, they usually make it put in the freezer and get another way. This will be the first year I haven't had to be retired this year. He was so little it comes down, so I don't know whether we'll see him or not because it's not started signal sometimes.
Well, I got paperwork for you right now.
I got the mail for years, and he's so excited.
He was going to get the competition.
So we'll see. His wife is not real healthy, but so we'll see if he comes down or not. I don't know. So it's just one of those things. It's so frustrating. Good finance for the building. Yeah, unfortunately, I feel bad about that.
I don't know where the pins go. There's the pin. There's the sign-up sheet.
Oh, for all the people that signed in?
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, good. But where they are, you can put them in file
Okay.
records and stuff. I know.
Thank
We still got
you.
6 minutes.
So procedurally, maybe we need to change the code so we actually get to see the vouchers forward.
They used to, yeah, well, so I sent her a message. Hold on, sorry, I'm in the middle of a little.
Well, I should have abstained from that, but it comes out not page yet.
Well, there's a, okay.
And the way I think,
So I sent her a message, I didn't picture that, and sent it to her, and said, hey, what is the deal here? I thought that we didn't. And she said, I said, didn't council remove the housing option status one? And I don't know, my computer cut out, and that's about the It's in the budget as a line item.
They changed it. I think last year.
I remember the conversation, and I remember.
Because they decided it was more efficient to go city.
Well, they were charging us yeah, no, like, no, we're not doing this.
And effectively, the center had to fund the money. Kind of like the CARES funding, exactly the same process. But with a handling.
So, okay, so, and when we were showing. You're pretty busy. Okay, so.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick.
So we just hang in there, girl.
So, would you get, you said that normally there's like 10.
It hasn't been that.
Okay. Oh, it happened, okay.
It hasn't been that.
But I did ask the question, hey, when people went home, they were just going to call that to the end. They did say that they were holding on to it at one point, they were banking. I just don't want to be the one maybe taking over all the time. Whoever the Afro wasn't asking for all of it before, so there was a surplus. That was in there, but now it's not.
That is true.
There was like you there. Okay.
It's more fun than It's so many, you know what I mean? It's so much more fun.
Okay.
I've never received money.
Okay, but they will now because of this.
Apparently, that
Okay.
was my question, and then, and so she was also wondering what process should she follow
I was told
to know.
that you could request it January 1st, and the check will be mailed out when the money comes in about February 1st.
Okay.
So you can request it anytime. As soon as you request it, it goes on the list, and as soon as it comes in. So it's really not a process. It's really up to you guys of when, once you request it, as when it's sent out. She said you never requested it this year. I thought that's how.
The treasurer has been saying, you let me know.
Yeah.
And that you
Got 3 minutes.
had previously
We're
only
getting
asked
Thanksgiving with your family.
about it,
Uh-huh.
and never got a response.
That's what
And then because of COVID, everything shut.
But you got 35 at a
It
funeral.
was like,
Yeah.
did you ever?
That is so crazy. When I read that, about that, I was like,
Oh, it's,
Just go ahead and
they're
tell
so,
her. Well, I'll respond to her in the email, because we are taking care of it. She's supposed to be reaching out and explaining all that, but.
I got to that.
Yes, that's exactly.
And I'm like, I should not have been a part of
I don't know how
that.
to do that, because it's like the same thing.
Because how does anybody else, nobody else sees these,
Yeah.
but finance committee members, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think what's the deal with the vouchers, Mr. Fredericks? I know at one point, they used to be listed, but now you have to call because it's such a large document that, is that the deal?
So yes, I would not have known that had I not been a member of the Finance Committee. So I think it's imperative that the folks that are putting the vouchers together communicate possible concerns, conflicts. And
Okay.
I do think that the issue that I'm sure Ms. Holland has raised, I'm going to assume here, is that not every member sees the vouchers. So
Yes.
how would they know to recuse themselves if there's something that is paying out?
To their organization or an organization they're a member of?
So if it's a contract and it's been approved already by council, then it's fine. But I was going to ask Mr. Randolph, and Mr. Randolph is not here this evening. So
Okay.
the safest thing for me to do is just abstain. But you're right, going forward, that would be something that needs to be addressed.
Okay. All right, I'll put it on my list. Got it. Okay. It is 8 p.m. Let's see. All right, it is 8 p.m. And we are...
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Oh, I was recording.
yeah.
Sorry.
This conference
There
will
we go.
now be recorded.
I thought I messed up and forgot to hit record the first time. So we're good. We did get all of that on camera, so thank you so much, everyone. It was good. I was worried we did not have we did not get that documented for future generations.
2020 blooper reel.
Yeah, that would be great. All right, we are back in session, and we are back at action item P, ordinance number 1475, 2021, final budget, first reading.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1475 for 2021, final budget, first reading.
Given that there's no second, would the chair take an alternative motion?
Yes.
Yes.
Move to adopt ordinance number 1475, the 2021 final budget, without the additional full-time employee and utility billing, and exempt employees' cost of living adjustment contingent upon making a 5% contribution to health insurance premiums.
Second.
All right, motion on the floor by Mr. Frederick, seconded by Councilmember Plaza. Mr. Boyce, did you catch that?
I did.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure it got recorded there. Mr. Fredericks,
What year does this make of your budget, Mr. Mayor?
I start 5.
Excellent. For the record, it is so much easier as a policymaker to have provided to us a balanced budget. This, I believe, does make the 5th year that we have had a balanced budget provided to council, and it makes this process a lot easier, and it's very much appreciated. There was a lot of hard work that went into this 2021 final budget, so I'd like to thank staff for all of the work that they did, and I am supportive of moving this ordinance and adopting the 2021 budget first reading.
thank you. Mr. Plaza,
I'm pretty much on the same sheet of music as Councilmember Fredericks. This year has been crazy for everybody, and especially for the city, due to COVID and the repercussions from that to us. So the fact that we can even have a balanced budget at this point is pretty astounding, in my opinion. So I think it's time for us to move forward with it.
further discussion? Mrs. Rounds.
I just wanted to thank you and the staff for working hard to bring us a balanced budget. It's very much appreciated.
Thank you for that, I appreciate that. Anything further? All right, seeing nothing else, I'll take the vote on the motion on the table for action item P, ordinance number 1475, 2021 final budget, first reading, with the removal of a full-time employee utility clerk and exempt employees COLA dependent on
Exempt employees' cost of living adjustment contingent upon making a 5% contribution to health insurance premiums.
Thank you. Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Graham.
Aye.
Councilmember Holland.
Aye.
Councilmember Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Chapman.
Aye.
Councilmember Plaza.
Aye.
Councilmember Fredericks.
Yes.
Threw me off. All right. The ayes/yeses have it. The time is now 8:04. Before we ask for a motion for adjournment, thank you very much for the compliments this evening. I wish I could take all the credit, but staff has put, the executive team has put a lot of work into that budget, and it does take many, many months poring over that and going through it. So I appreciate the comments towards the team, but I'm just here as a placeholder and to make sure that they are successful. So I appreciate the comments towards myself, but I have to tip my hat off to the executive team.
They were for the team.
I work for the team. I work for the team. All right, the time is now 8:05. The chair will accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Council, I didn't think you guys could say. Motion by Councilmember Rounds, second by Councilmember Chapman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? 8:05. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Have a good evening.
Bye. Bye, Monty.
Probably need this because Monty will still need.
Oh, Monty needs to sign this? I'll just swing it by his house. Is he still on here? No, he's gone. Did I stop it yet? There we go.
This conference is no longer being recorded.